The HR memo was the first red flag, though we all ignored it. Mandatory holiday bonding. The anonymous exchange. In an office of 300 people, anonymous is just another word for negligent. I work in a sterile cubicle farm on the 14th floor of a glass tower in the city. We don't know each other. We know the backs of heads, the sound of keyboard clicks, and the specific way the communal microwave smells like burnt fish on Tuesdays. So, when the Secret Santa assignments were sent out via a blind email link, I didn't think much of it. I bought a $20 Starbucks gift card for a girl in accounting named Sarah and considered my debt to the holiday spirit paid. But on December 21st, I found the first box on my desk. It wasn't wrapped in festive paper. It was a plain, cardboard shipping box, sealed with heavy black duct tape. No tag. No to Mark. Just my desk number scrawled in what looked like thick, wet charcoal. I opened it, expecting a mug or a desk plant. Inside was a single, used toothbrush. The bristles were worn down to the plastic, and the base was stained with a dark, brownish crust. I laughed, thinking it was a prank from Dave in sales. I tossed it in the trash and went home. The next morning, a second box was waiting, identical to the first. Inside was a clump of hair, long, blonde, and matted, tied together with a piece of dental floss. My stomach did a slow roll. This wasn't a prank. This was a threat. I went to HR, but the office was a ghost town. Half the staff had already taken off for the holidays. The HR manager, a woman who looked like she hadn't slept since 2004, just waved me away. It's a joke, Mark. Someone's just being edgy. It's an anonymous exchange. We can't track the sender. That night, I stayed late to finish a report. The office was silent, save for the hum of the HVAC and the occasional groan of the building settling. At 8 p.m., my phone buzzed. A notification from the office's internal messaging app. Sender, Anonymous Santa. Message. You didn't keep the first two. They were parts of her. Don't you want to see the rest of the collection? I froze. My eyes darted to the trash can where I'd thrown the toothbrush. It was gone. The cleaning crew must have emptied it. I grabbed my coat and bolted for the elevator. As the doors slid shut, I saw a figure standing at the far end of the darkened hallway. It was wearing a cheap plastic Santa mask, the kind with the unmoving, wide-eyed stare and the peeling red paint. It wasn't moving. It was just watching. I didn't go back to the office the next day. I called in sick. I locked my apartment doors, closed the blinds, and ordered pizza. When the delivery driver rang the bell, I checked the peephole. He was gone, but a box was sitting on the mat. Black duct tape. Wet charcoal. I brought it inside. I had to know. I peeled back the tape. Inside was a digital picture frame. It flickered to life the moment the light hit it. It was a slideshow. The first photo was of me 3 years ago at a grocery store. The second was of me at my father's funeral, standing by the grave. The third was of me 5 minutes ago, looking through the peephole. The Secret Santa wasn't a co-worker. It was a curator. Someone who had been collecting my life from the periphery, gathering the things I discarded, my trash, my hair, my moments of grief, and boxing them up to sell back to me as gifts. I smashed the frame with a hammer. I didn't sleep. I sat in my living room with every light turned on, waiting for sun, but the sun didn't bring peace. At 6 a.m., my mail slot clattered. A small, padded envelope slid through. I didn't want to open it. I knew I shouldn't. But the psychological pull of a gift is a powerful thing. It's an evolutionary trap. We are hardwired to want to know what's inside the box. I tore it open. Inside was a key, a heavy, old-fashioned brass key with a tag tied to it. The tag said, Office Storage Closet 4B. Your final gift is waiting. Don't be ungrateful. I drove to the office like a man possessed. The tower was nearly empty for the holiday break. I bypassed the security desk. The guard was asleep and took the service elevator to the basement levels. Storage 4B was at the end of a long, flickering corridor. I put the key in the lock. It turned with a sickeningly smooth click. The smell hit me first. It wasn't the smell of rot. Not yet. It was the smell of formaldehyde and pine air freshener. A desperate attempt to mask something heavy. I pushed the door open. The The room was filled with boxes, hundreds of them, all identical, all sealed with black duct tape. They were stacked from floor to ceiling like a macabre library. In the center of the room was a chair, and sitting in that chair was a figure wrapped entirely in Christmas lights. The wires were dug into the skin, the multicolored bulbs pulsing in a rhythmic, seizure-inducing heartbeat. It was Sarah from accounting. She wasn't dead. Her eyes were wide, following me, but her mouth was stitched shut with the same dental floss I'd seen on the clump of hair. Around her neck was a sign, the gift of silence. I backed away, tripping over a stack of boxes. One of them toppled over, its lid popping open. I looked inside and screamed. It wasn't a body part. It was a meticulously crafted diorama of my own bedroom, made entirely out of my own discarded fingernails and teeth. Then the door behind me slammed shut. The lights in the room died, leaving only the pulsing glow of the Christmas lights wrapped around Sarah. From the darkness of the corner, I heard the crinkle of a plastic mask. "You finally came to the exchange," a voice rasped. It sounded like sandpaper on bone. "But you didn't bring a gift for me, Mark. And the rules are very clear. If you don't have a gift to give, you become the gift." I felt a cold, gloved hand wrap around my throat. The last thing I saw before the darkness took me was a reflection of the blinking red and green lights in that frozen plastic Santa face. I woke up 3 days later in a hospital bed. They found me in the storage room, dehydrated and catatonic. Sarah was gone. The boxes were gone. The police told me the room had been empty for years. They said I had a psychotic break brought on by holiday stress. But they're wrong. I know they're wrong. Because every year since then, on December 21st, a box appears on my doorstep. I don't open them anymore. I don't even touch them. I shove them straight into the incinerator. But last night, I heard a sound coming from inside the box. A faint, muffled tapping. And then a voice, Sarah's voice, whispering through the cardboard. "Mark, please, open the box. It's your turn to be the star on the tree." I moved house 4 times. I changed my name. I live in a desert now where there are no pine trees and no snow. But this morning, I woke up and smelled it. The scent of pine air freshener and formaldehyde. I looked at the foot of my bed. There was no box. There was just a piece of black duct tape stuck to my forehead, and written on it in wet charcoal the words, "Shipping delayed. See you at midnight." That's why I never checked my Secret Santa gifts. Because once you accept a gift, you belong to the giver. And my Santa, he's a very, very patient collector. If you love horror like this or romance, thriller, and revenge stories, you can please check my channel too.